welcome to the show, fellas.
So we're recording on 420, which is also Easter. Has Easter ever fell on 420 before?
I thought it was always about Easter.
You say 420 is the national Easter holiday?
Yeah, it's always just in reference to the Easter holiday.
Yep.
I always felt like it was different.
Oh man, I first heard about it in high school. Somebody was like, "You don't know what 420 is?" I'm like, "You smoke as much weed
Time of day
at 420 on 420, like
Ew,
as
really?
much
That's what
weed
they
as possible."
said?
Yeah, it says much weed as possible at 4:20 p.m. or a.m.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not 420 yet over
April.
here, so I'll make sure to remember that.
That you smoke as much weed as possible.
at 4:20 p.m.
Pacific
on
Standard Time.
4:20.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video with my monster puppet where he smoked so much weed he was in a coma for a whole year. He woke up at 420.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
He's like, oh, what day is it? He's like, it's 420 of the next year.
Of the next year. Someone said that of the next year.
Yes. Yeah. You've been asleep for a whole year. Oh wow.
Oh man. Oh my
I mean, it doesn't make any difference if you do it at that time today.
Right. It's just so dumb. Sound like something high school.
From experience, it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
People going to church high today. Is that what happened? Oh, I mean, get blazed while you're looking for those Easter eggs.
Hey, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
I found another egg. That's not an egg.
What
That's
is
an egg. But what kind of egg is that?
What kind of egg is that? Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's 2 holidays today, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Well, what are we talking about this time?
We talking about sinners. Speaking of Easter, let's talk about all these sinners.
Wow.
Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners, starring Michael B.
The
Jordan.
heathens that went to church today after watching Sinners last night.
Oh, right. Let's hurry to go to church.
Yep.
Let's introduce ourselves real quick. I am Josh, aka Prop Josh, joined by Smiley, aka Jason,
Yes.
and Marcus, aka 730.
Sup?
So my AKA is my actual name.
Yeah, I know I did it backwards. That's because you always talk about how everybody calls you Smiley, even though me and Marcus do not.
Which I mean,
call
I
you
do feel
Smiley,
like you
but
don't.
everybody else.
Let's start calling
No.
him Smiley. It'd be out of respect, Smiley.
Out of respect. That sounds weird.
Just
If you
don't
call me
sound
Smiley
right for me. I've been calling him Jason for 40 years.
Yes. For 40 years.
He's not even 40.
Exactly.
Calling me that since before I was born.
Yep. When's Jason coming? No.
And you better
I'm
name
not
him
even
Jason.
pregnant. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. So yeah, what are we talking about? Yeah, we talked about it. Okay.
Yeah. So Sinners, the new movie with Ryan Coogler. He's only directed like 5 or 6 movies. I've seen them all. I've been rooting for this guy since day one, for real. Like since day one. So I'm glad to see him. I'm glad to see everybody's going out to the theater to see this movie and stuff and support it, because this is like a completely original movie.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of original movies out that much.
Yeah, it's
True.
original
And
concept
his-
itself, yeah.
Well, yeah, and even his movies, all the things that he's done,
It's based off of something.
right? Yeah, like all the
This
movies
is like
he's
his
done.
first original, because even Fruitvale Station is based off of
Yeah.
something that happened.
Right, and Creed is a property from another property.
Right.
You know, it's
This
kind of
is a
extended, of course.
completely original Ryan Coogler out of his mind.
Right. And his first horror movie, if we
At
call
that.
it a horror movie, we'll get
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
that's
We'll get
that's
into
something to
that.
talk about. Yeah.
It's like a cross-genre kind of movie.
It really is. All right. So what Josh got this time?
What Josh
since we're
got
talking
this
about
time.
since we're talking about vampires, I got me a vampire action figure.
Okay.
One of the most evil, vile vampires. I can't wait to use this. He's gonna be drinking all kinds of blood.
Evil,
Oh yeah,
vile.
the most evil that you ever see.
That's hilarious.
That looks really good.
Oh man.
Yes, it does.
Man.
Is that a cloth cape?
Yes, it is.
What? Who
Oh, yeah, I'm
made
going
that
to
figure?
Target.
Tell the
I'm going to
listeners
Target.
what you showing people.
So I'm showing is for the listeners, this is the Count from Sesame Street. Count Von Count is his real
That's
name.
his official name. Count.
Yeah, that's
real
what it says in
name.
his box. Yeah,
Von
Count Von Count.
I don't think
I always knew him as the Count. I just thought he was just called the Count.
Yes.
So I didn't know until I got the
Von
toy.
Count. That's so hilarious. That's something Jim Henson would come.
It
up
looks
with.
really awesome.
It is.
Who created him?
NECA. NECA made this.
Well, I mean, like the character. Did Jim Henson create him?
Most likely. I think he did.
I mean, he's
If not,
hilarious.
he made it or something,
Yeah.
you know.
hmm
Yeah.
What I like about that figure is that he's human sized. Like that's his whole body.
He really is. You know, like,
Oh,
I
man.
compare him to a Marvel
Oh
Legend
wow!
figure. This is how
Yes.
he looks.
So NECA made how many other Sesame Street characters does NECA make?
Well, so far they made Ernie and Bert and the Count, and they're going to be making Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and Harry Monster. That's what I heard from like Toy Fair. I saw like images from Toy Fair.
Mhm.
So I'm sure they're going to make a lot of characters. I mean, NECA
Yeah.
is going to.
That makes sense. It's a
they
target
wanna make
audience,
money.
and
Yeah.
they know who the target audience is. It is not children.
No, it's not because
These are grown adults. How much are those?
yes, like $35.
Yeah, that's not a kid's toy.
Well, the difference, and you can tell because the difference is because it's all right. So Sesame Street toys, and this is for those people who don't know about collecting. Toys are like more for kids. It's like squishier toys and stuff. It's more, it's like you can throw it around and stuff.
Mhm.
Where NECA is strictly for adult collectors. That's why they
Yeah.
but it's like they can take a kid's property and make it into
Because you
adult-
watched it as a kid. And
right, and so
40
they're going
years
to
later.
give it really detailed. Yeah, they're going to do the details and stuff, and
Mhm.
the way it moves, it just everything about it's like it's not really meant to be played with. Where if they made the Count for kids, it's going to be more soft and like one of those squishy toys and stuff. So that's
It wouldn't
mainly
have
the
a lot of
difference.
small parts and
Right, because he came with a lot of things. He came with different hands.
Oh wow!
Yeah, his different hands is like he got a hand that's doing 1 and a 2 and a 3.
He has 3 different hands.
Yes.
That's great.
so
So you're gonna use him for stuff?
You know it.
Said it with so
gonna be
much passion.
He's gonna be on so many adventures.
Wow. What's his
counting
voice?
things.
What's his voice? You're doing his voice, right?
I don't know. Marcus might, because Marcus is thinking about getting one himself. I almost
Oh,
got
the
it
same
from
figure.
Marcus.
Okay. How does
Yeah,
that
I've
voice
never done
sound?
his voice.
1, 2, 2.
He's
He actually
so,
comes with the number
he
2.
he gets so amused by every
So
number.
enthusiastic.
He does. I remember. I'm
It's like-
debating if I should make him drink blood or not when I make the videos about him.
Oh,
like
wow.
make him a real vampire,
Wow.
just because he never drinks.
He
'cause
is a
he's
vampire. He is a vampire. So yeah.
Let me in your house, please.
You're right. Like, what's the first thing he counted? Like the number of dead bodies.
I see your veins. I count
The
1,
number of gallons
2,
of blood
2
in his
veins. I'm going to stop.
You said what? Say that again, Mark. The number of
The
what?
number of gallons of blood in his fridge.
in his fridge. Gallons of
He
blood.
got like blood bags all in his fridge.
Oh my goodness.
How many pints? 1, 2.
3, 2, 3, 4, 4 pints of blood. Oh, I love to drink blood.
To satisfy my thirst.
My thirst for blood.
Well, that's a pretty cool
that's
figure.
a vampire.
We're talking about vampires, but we're talking about Ryan Coogler. You mentioned it
Yeah,
earlier. So like, what you see his movies have been,
I haven't seen all of
epic.
his movies, but everything I've seen has been epic and well told. And it's a different genre each film that I've seen.
Yeah, it does seem like he tackles different genres. Because Fruitvale Station is straight drama. Creed is more of a sports movie, sports
Hmm.
drama type thing, and then of course, Black Panther's superhero movie.
But they all have a line, and this is the thing: the question of like his impact on the culture. Like you even think about like what Fruitville Station did, like in a period like that we needed it. You know what I mean? Like this is like because I mean even with the story of Oscar Grant and knowing and you were around that space
In that
during
area.
the actual time that he was murdered, right, Josh? You were in the
Yeah, I
same
was not
like
that far at
yeah.
all.
So
I was
like
in the Bay Area when it happened.
so I mean, but then for him to be able to create a biopic that shows his life definitely like created it personalized him even more, because like
Hmm.
say his name, but like he made a whole movie to personalize like this person, he's a human being and we should be able to honor him. And I think
Mm.
that helped the movement. Like it helped the
Hmm.
movement.
Yeah, it did. And also in the movie, if you watch it, he didn't villainize the cops either
Mm.
that shot him. Because
That
that
did
was one
have
thing
their
I
own
remember.
struggle. I didn't think about that, but
Yeah,
you're right.
I remember that because when the cop that shot him, he was like, I was like, oh no, I didn't mean to, and the other cop got to him to the side. He's like, what happened? What did you do? So it wasn't like, yes, kill this nigger, and went like that.
Hmm.
So he showed the human side of everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then I mean, of course, Black Panther, that was the move that was for the culture.
That whole, yeah,
Like to be able
just
to see,
opening night
I
of
mean,
that
but okay,
opening
like
weekend of that movie was a cultural event.
literally people went with dashikis to the
Hmm.
movie. They like dressed in tees, like black people. But like what I loved about it was because like we always been into comics and superheroes, and so like for him to be able to be an unapologetic blur to show the culture in this, I think is brilliant. And it got more black people to say we like superheroes too. So like, thank you, and
But yeah, you were talking about how Black Panther got people excited to go see a superhero movie, particularly black people, to go see
mhm,
a superhero movie. But I
in the theater.
remember, right in the theater, I remember the day I was so excited we were getting ready to go see to go see Sinners, and I was texting y'all about how like for real life though, like I really haven't been that excited to go experience a movie at the theater
Mm,
because I remember me and Jason purposely avoided all social media they
right,
got
right.
anything to do with
Yes,
this fucking
yes.
movie. I ain't want to see no interviews or nothing.
Nah, nothing.
And so like I purposely wanted to go in blind because like Josh said, this movie don't got to do with it doesn't have to do with a Marvel hero you already know about. It don't have to
Right.
do with another property. It don't have to do with a real life event. It's literally just a purely original Ryan Coogler, and it's a different genre for him. And it's shot in IMAX
Right.
film like
mm.
Nope. Like this is his Nope to me.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah, it is.
I haven't been that excited since going to see Nope because Nope
Mm.
when it came out they did a really good job of handling the trailers and not spoil anything. I had no idea what I was about to see when I went and
Yeah,
saw Nope, and that made it way better.
Mm.
that's
And
true.
that's just like how this was. Like I mean, the only thing I knew it was in Mississippi, and I knew it was vampires. I just,
See, I actually didn't know it was in Mississippi until the
yeah, I
Me
credits.
knew it
either.
was in Mississippi.
I didn't know it was Mississippi.
I
I
was able
I,
to avoid
I
that.
knew it was in Mississippi because I had already seen. There was some interview where Coogler was talking about the inspiration for this story is
Mm.
his uncle or his great uncle
Yeah, I saw that
would have
after
these
the fact.
blues records, and he loved like the Mississippi blue. Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Coogler in particular likes Mississippi old school blues, like
Mm-hmm.
Muddy Water, Skip James. He probably listened to Skip James. A lot of people probably don't even know about Skip James. He's like the creepiest blues singer, but I love him. Howlin' Wolf, like any of them Mississippi folks, and it was you could hear and see a lot of the influence of like there, and there is a lot of um, lore around the world of blues, Mississippi blues in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to see. The last time I seen that kind of lore about Mississippi blues was it wasn't a black movie, but it was a really good movie. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh yeah, that's a
I
classic.
love that movie. Love
Yeah.
that movie. And so
Yep.
but this was like even better because I culturally like really connected to this movie. So
Love to hear
Since
more
it's
about
set in
that.
Mississippi, I'm glad it focused more on blues rather than racism because Mississippi movies tend to get a bad rep.
right. It was about blues. Yeah, right. Blues was the main character in this movie.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes.
it's dope. And
Absolutely.
it's so dope. Mississippi is the main character in the movie and not in a racist way, really.
Right. Right.
The Klan is mentioned in this movie. They play part in this movie because you can't avoid Mississippi history without
In
talking about
the
the Klan
30s,
Of
right?
course.
and
Like
the
you in
30s
Mississippi in
and
the
stuff like
30s.
that.
Right, right.
But that was by far not the main focus of the movie. You know what I'm saying? It was a cultural element that was in the background. Like
Right.
people
Which
would take their
I
hats off when
value.
they talk to a white
Yeah.
woman or something like that. You know what I mean? Like culturally, some things were in place to kind of let you know. But I thought it was dope that me and Jason got to see. We're in Mississippi right
Right.
now, and
Right.
we
Right.
watched it with a Mississippi audience
Yes, which was
reaction. So
great.
that was a
Yeah,
lot
so
of fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
me and Mark watched it on open or Friday night.
yeah,
And in the theater, and so yeah, had to get there.
in a packed theater. Yeah,
Yes,
it
every
was
seat was
cool,
taken. So yeah, it was
including ours.
yes, exactly.
Really?
Tell them what
so,
happened.
so yeah, we got in a little earlier. You know, it was like but enough time for we
Because
can
we were
before the
excited.
trailer.
We got there
Yes.
early to get some snacks and
popcorn
everything. I
and
had a
everything.
gift card. We got free popcorn. That shit was
Yep.
great. I
Yes.
felt
It
like
was like we go.
we felt like kids in the 90s. Man. It
Yes,
was great.
yes. It's like one popcorn. You eat drinks and popcorn. Yeah. Movies. And
Yeah,
so
we
walk-
high five people looking weird.
It's like, yes, the movie. And so we were walking in. And so like, every seat is assigned and we pre-selected our seats to be closer to the aisle. So it's like, hey, we can walk out, if we need it.
Mhm.
I know Marcus can get claustrophobic with the people. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we can definitely want to do that. So as soon as we walk in, I'm like row F, looking at the number F4 and 5 and, row F, there's a lady just with her popcorn, lounged out, feet straight out, F5. She just sitting there just ready.
I'm talking about she been there for a while.
She
was
ready
in there
for the
comfortable.
movie.
Had the lounge
super comfortable.
out and
Seat was
everything.
out, popcorn in the mouth, just ready. Like watching the movie. My movie time.
Wow.
So
Glad I picked the perfect seat.
It's the best seat in the house. Movie time. So I was like, excuse me, because I double checked. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely our seat.
Because the whole time I went to the side, I was like, I guess he'll handle it.
So
he
I
was
was like-
already.
Wow.
I was like, so do you have F as your row? She was like, I don't know. I'm like, you check your movie ticket stuff? Because I know, like generally if it's crowded, every seat's gonna be taken. So I can't just
Right.
be like, oh yeah, we'll just let you sit there and we'll no, that's not gonna work. We gotta be in our assigned seat because
Right,
I ain't
right.
sitting in nobody else's assigned seat.
Right.
And so you find yours. She's like, I don't know. I haven't been to the movies in a while. Like, what do you gotta do? And I was like,
the movie's in 10 years,
I
apparently.
guess so. Like she had H11 or something like that. I was like, you definitely on the back row on the side on the other corner. Like you in the I didn't say that. I was very nice. I was very kind. But she did get up and move. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, no problem. So yeah, that was funny though. So yes, it was crowded. Every seat was taken, even ours.
Wow.
So yeah.
And it was funny because I had just I was in the seat in front of ours, like just trying to be out the way of the aisle. And then like right when we got in our seat, that spot, they went and sat down.
Immediately.
Like I would have been in their way.
Yep. So
It was that many people in there.
So
Well, my
yeah.
theater experience, while we're talking about it,
Oh yeah. So we had a good experience, but how was yours?
I did not.
Okay. What happened with yours?
It was crowded. Yes, it was crowded.
Yeah.
And I took Andy with me, and there was this empty seat beside me, and I'm thinking like, oh, there's not going to be anybody sitting there because it's like right in the middle. It's just one seat because there's a bunch of couples sitting all over the place.
Somebody's seat.
No, not at all. This guy comes up and he is your stereotypical wino looking guy. He's got like a trench
serious?
coat and he has a
Really?
beer.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, I kid
He does
you
not
not.
have a trench coat.
Yes,
and
he
a
really
beer.
did. He has a trench coat and a beer. He snuck in.
Oh,
he snuck in 2
my
beers because he sat
goodness.
next to me. He was all jittery, moving around a lot, and he was all,
Wow. Are you serious?
Yes. Every now and then in the movie, he just be like, I'm just like, dude, and I'm. And he had to keep getting up. He had to keep getting up in the middle of the fucking movie.
Walking past you.
Right. And we're all like in lounge seats and we had to move our feet because he got to get by back and forth.
The restroom from all that beer he was drinking.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
And it didn't help that there were some people, a couple of rows in front of us, constantly checking their phone.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Especially in front of you, because that's the light all
yes,
up
it's
in
like
your
they don't
face.
care about the people behind
Oh
them
my
at all.
goodness.
We had to constantly
Yeah,
move,
rude.
like put a hand in front of our face so we wouldn't see their light.
Worst.
I could have read their text messages. They kept texting.
You
I'm like,
just read them out loud.
Man, so badly, so badly. And anytime I'm in a movie theater and people do that, a little angel and a little devil pop up in my shoulder, and the, and the devil be like, "Throw popcorn."
Is that what the angel or the demon says? Both of them.
That's what they both of them say.
The angel says, "Throw popcorn." The devil says, "Read the text."
Oh my goodness! That is why would you go? That's the thing. I do not like that. Like, why do you go to a movie theater, pay on the opening night to read your phone?
Have to
to look at your little ass phone.
It's
so
like,
stupid
because
because they have to. Some people are so addicted to their phones, they got to check. They're constantly.
Yeah.
I know people who constantly check their phone all the time, and it's like they just can't. That's people like that. But I did go to the movies today, and nobody pulled out
one
their
of
phones.
You're one of them.
Yeah, the only time I don't is when I'm like watching a movie. Like sometimes I have to like take certain apps off my phone to concentrate on what I'm doing. You know, so
I purposely check my phone on certain situations when I have to wait on stuff. Then I pull out my phone.
Oh, it's like your time, like to waste time type thing.
Yeah,
it's
waiting
your
in line
pastime.
or something. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I do.
That makes sense. Like,
so I can leave my phone alone for 2 hours when I'm watching a movie. But some people can't.
Yeah. During the movie, I want to see that movie.
That's not. Yes, like it will wait. Calm down.
Right. Like, do you check your phone while you're sleeping at night? Like
some people do. Wake up and immediately, I gotta.
Well, sometimes I do too. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes
if I'm waiting on a package, I check my phone way too much.
Well, I check my computer if I'm waiting on a package. I'm like,
I'm checking my phone. I'm looking for the updates. I'm refreshing the page as if it's gonna move any faster.
Right. It's in Korea. Refresh. Still in Korea. Refresh.
Exactly.
I've been
still
there.
in Korea, sir. So yeah.
But yeah, the wino guy, he ended up leaving before the movie ended.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
I said because he kept having to go piss because he was drinking too much.
But he
so
left,
he was the first
never
one
came back.
Yeah, he never came back. He left
before like the climax.
Yeah, after the climax of the movie, once it was wrapping, when the movie was wrapping up, he was
Did he
gone.
come back? What happened? This is a stupid movie.
How many cans of beer did he have? Was it cans?
He had
bottles?
2. He had 2. It were cans.
That's
in
louder
a plastic
too.
bag. Yes,
Yeah.
Cans
exactly.
in a
All
plastic
crumbling
bag.
and sucking out
Yes.
that
Well,
can.
like, how
In
can
a
you
paper
be
bag.
so
Can in a paper bag.
In
I
a
kid you
paper
not.
bag.
I
yeah,
kid you
cans of
not.
beer in a paper bag
They
in a movie
serve
theater.
alcohol at that theater. They do serve
That's so
alcohol.
80s
Why
Nick
is it so
Nolte.
stereotypical?
I mean, it could have been Nick Nolte.
So he was in a trench coat.
Yes. It
This
was
is
dark. Maybe it really was Nick Nolte.
Man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's that. So in spite of all that,
Did
you
he
were
have
able to
fingerless gloves?
Maybe. It was dark.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness.
So in spite of all that, you were actually able to watch the movie.
Yes, I might have to watch
Oh,
it
my
again just to
goodness.
enjoy it fully. But
Yeah.
it was, I mean, this wasn't the worst theater I watched the movie in, but it wasn't the best. It was like, I was worried when I went and saw the Minecraft movie because there was a bunch of teenagers sitting next to me that were excited, but they calmed the fuck down and watched the entire Minecraft movie.
You
So
know,
that was better.
my I had a Ryan Coogler bad movie theater experience. When
Oh,
the
yeah, the
first
first
time
time
I
you saw
seen
Black
Black
Panther.
Panther,
Yeah.
I was in
the
such a
first Black
bad
Panther?
movie. Yeah, I was in such a bad movie theater. I couldn't even enjoy the movie like I wanted.
Yeah, because you had to watch it again.
I had to go watch it again. Right. I had to go watch it
Yeah.
again to actually get in. I had to go see it. I think I went at IMAX and saw it the second time. And
That's how my second the was it the second Black Panther
Return,
movie,
yeah.
because the whole sound was out. It was just a bad theater. Like, they didn't even have the sound for the first half of the
Right.
movie. I didn't even see the beginning of the movie till like later, and the big procession and everything to honor Chadwick. Like, I didn't even see that when I watched the
Wow.
movie.
Wow.
So it's like, so it
And
went,
did
yeah,
and did I mention on a podcast that I seen Ryan Coogler in person?
maybe,
know.
but talk
You
about it
have now.
again. This is now the appropriate time, because I put in the notes that we all want to be best friends with Ryan Coogler, and obviously Josh is already best friends with Ryan Coogler.
Yes,
so
we hung out a couple years ago.
Your
Okay.
experience.
No, he was speaking at this
Who the
museum
fuck
thing.
is John?
Yes.
I would like to meet Ryan Coogler one day. I keep meeting people who have worked with him, kind of thing. So,
No, he
so it's like
he seems
almost
he's real cool.
1 degree of separation.
It really is. It's literally 1 degree separation from meeting him, like for real, or working with him or whatever. But I can admire him from afar. So I did see him speak. Me and Brick was with me. Brick was sitting right next to me when we saw him speak. Real cool guy. And of course, Brick pointed out, and I gotta say this, he's like, man, this nigga is the same age as me. And so much more successful.
Yes. We are the same age. I am also
yes, y'all
age.
Yes, you Brick, and Ryan Coogler were all born the same year.
86. Yep. We are all born in 86. Yes.
He's a little bit older than y'all, though.
Yeah.
So
slightly.
maybe that's why he's famous like that, because he's a little bit
Okay.
He's definitely on his grind, So yeah, knockout. Definitely, he was on his hustle. I think it was good, and so that's the thing. And I think that's another thing that encourages me, because it's like, as a young Black man, from Mississippi, seeing Ryan Coogler as being my age, being able to shout out Mississippi like that, definitely was like, oh, this is amazing, and show just success and his own success. He didn't have to do a lot. Like, his repertoire, his film doesn't have to be a lot, but he puts powerful punches in every last one of them.
Right.
Which I think is what I love about it. And so,
well, shout out to Sacramento, where I used to live. He went to Sac State. That's one thing he said at the when he was speaking.
Yeah.
He studied film. He studied film at Sac State. So, like I said, he was out there the same time I was. Oh, I guess he did. Yeah, I think I heard that.
Yep.
Yeah,
he was like a wide receiver out there too. So, yeah, but he's from.
I could have walked past him and didn't know it. For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Could have. Yeah. Cool people.
Maybe I did. At least I know we were in the same room that I know of.
Right. That you're aware of now. You were
yeah.
And he's famous. So yeah, we want to talk about this movie a little bit more. We do want to give like a non-spoiler summary.
Let's do it.
So what the movie's about. Do you remember, Josh, since you had to But yeah,
Well, it's
so
about this guy drinking a beer can, and it's
So-
about this text where this guy who's meeting
Oh,
with this
goodness.
girl, and he's
He's reading
upset.
everybody's
And,
text message. Is that what happened in the text message?
Might as well have read it.
Oh man, this is horrible. So it is whatever thing we can figure out what the I feel like the genre is very unique. So I don't even know
Oh,
how to
it is.
categorize this.
So people have been comparing this movie to From Dusk Till Dawn.
I heard that.
Because it takes place in one night and it's got vampires.
That's
That
about
and Dusk Till Dawn starts off a certain way and then turns into a vampire movie, and that's how this movie kind of does. It starts off one way, but
it
there
starts
are
out
clues.
with some gangsters.
Yeah, I would argue I would definitely I could say I could see how people could think that.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily agree, but I could see how people would think that. So but yeah, whatever category.
Nothing's been done like this before.
Yeah, that's why you can't.
So
They're
that's
trying to
the
figure.
closest.
They're trying to put it in a box. It's Ryan.
It's
Coogler
like
created
frog
the
legs.
box. Yeah, like okay.
The whole theory about frog legs. I've never eaten frog legs.
Okay.
But the theory about frog legs is the first time you try them, it's like, oh, it tastes like chicken. The thing is that it tastes like frog legs, but your mind has to process and compare it to something palatable.
Familiar, yeah.
And the closest thing, the texture kind of behaves like chicken. Yeah, it tastes like chicken. No, it don't taste like. If you tasted chicken right after that, you could tell the damn difference in frog legs and chicken. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like that's good stuff though. Like,
oh yeah, it's original.
Yeah, like Outkast music when it was first coming out. Every time they came out with an album, it was like, I like it, but I don't know what to call it. How do I categorize? Every time they came out with something, it was like, this is different. You know
and even you can fast forward to Dre's flute album. It's like, how do you categorize this?
Right. You know, so that's the good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's original.
Like Jordan Peele's whole catalog. This right here, I know this is his first horror, which is even more impressive about this. But it feels apart from a Jordan Peele, but it's just as good as a Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah, and you can kind of, I guess you can definitely. There were people screaming in horror, so I guess you could put that as part of the checklist of categories. If you're trying to figure it out.
It's a action horror time period movie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna have vampires, with the exception of Twilight, it's gonna be a horror movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're gonna have vampires, it's gonna subsequently be an action movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can be.
I can't imagine vampires without
some kind of
fight. You have to engage in action to like deal.
Interview
with
a Vampire didn't really have action.
I don't remember that one.
It had subtle action in it. I mean, there was violence in it.
Yeah, I think it was. So,
what about Vampire?
Because even Twilight
Vampire
had
in Brooklyn
action.
didn't have a lot of action.
Maybe toward the end. It's always
that was a comedy though.
Things, yeah.
Well, yeah. Vampires can be in all kinds of categories.
But what's funny is they can also be in Brooklyn wasn't even supposed to be a fucking.
That's right.
Oh goodness! What you said? Vampire in Brooklyn wasn't supposed to be a comedy.
It was supposed to be. He wanted it to be serious. Eddie wanted it to be serious. Wes Craven wanted it to be a comedy.
Oh, that's weird because Wes Craven made it.
And he's known for horror, and Eddie is known for comedy. But this time, Eddie wanted to be like, "Yo, no, I want this to be like a for real, like scary vampire movie."
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Yeah, but you're Eddie Murphy. I want to do something funny, like a dude Eddie."
It's like Wes Craven gets a hold of Eddie Murphy. I need funny. But okay, so this movie follows. It's set 1932 Mississippi, Clarksdale, Mississippi.
And our audience cheered.
Yeah.
Yes, they cheered. They literally like applause. It said Clarksdale, Mississippi, 1932.
Meanwhile, in Apple Valley, California, yeah.
And that wasn't even you. That was somebody else.
That was
me. Josh was too ashamed. He was like, "I want Mississippi. I want nobody from Mississippi." Oh man! So it follows two twin brothers, Elijah Smoke and Elias Stackmore, both played by Michael B. Jordan. They return home after World War One, so they were in World War One because it's 32, and they were and also their time in the Chicago's underworld. So that's when they were like, what was it?
On some gangsters.
On some gangster stuff. And so their goal is they want to open up a juke joint for their community in Clarksdale. But
make some money in the process.
Right, make a lot of money. They want to make this juke joint. They got this opening night. They're ready to they got their cousin Sammy who plays.
They got some talent, all up in their family and everything. Yeah.
And so they know that they just build up a crew. They want to make this amazing juke joint, make some money from it, but just celebrate the community. However, which the trailer tells you this, there is some supernatural threats, vampires. So it's led by this Irish dude. I think his name is Remick, something like that. And so, that's kind of the story. There's some beginning that sets up basically that music follows culture, but like there's spirits in music. That's kind of how the beginning starts off and like shows that. Yeah, and then there's a little warning.
What's the father say? It's like you keep dancing with the devil.
Yep, he said, you keep dancing with the devil, he gonna find you or something like that. So it's like
something like
you
that.
keep playing that devil music, he gonna find you, something like that, But he didn't say that exactly. There's a quote that's really good.
He's not gonna go away or something like that. You keep dancing with the devil, he's not gonna go away.
Yeah,
something like that.
Because there's that. So the main character Sammy, he has they call him Preacher Boy, and he's the son of the preacher in town. And so, but he plays the guitar and he's a blues musician, aspiring artist. And so there's that tension there. So that's pretty much the movie. That's the quick summary of the movie.
Okay.
And what's it about?
Starring Michael B. Jordan, working with Ryan Coogler.
A. Jordan.
Michael A. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
Look, Siobhan said she did not know it was Michael B. Jordan playing two different roles until he got, spoiler alert, bit.
It's in the trailer.
Yeah, it's in the trailer.
Who did she think it was?
I don't know.
Oh, he had a real brother or something?
I can't tell the difference. This guy looks just like Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, goodness.
I was like, which one? Gosh. I said, which one did you think was Michael B. Jordan? And she was like, obviously Smoke. I was like, obviously both of them.
Maybe because Smoke is a character that Michael B. Jordan would play more. He doesn't really play a character like Stacks that often. I don't really, at least I haven't seen him play a character that's more like that. So
Which let's talk a little bit about the acting, because I think that's a good, even when we think about the different list of people in this movie.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that Michael B. Jordan is Ryan Coogler's guy.
Man,
so far he is in every single one of his movies. Every single one. It's not
whether he's starring or supporting.
Yeah, was he in Wakanda Forever?
Yes, he had a cameo in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, okay, yep, I remember that.
And Ryan Coogler did not direct Creed 3. Michael B. Jordan directed it, but Ryan Coogler he was still involved.
He's probably a consultant still, right?
That's pretty cool.
Because at the time when we saw him, he mentioned Creed 3.
Yeah,
because Creed 3 hadn't come out yet. So
that's pretty cool. They won.
Yeah, I like their partnership. It's like
they work well together.
It's like Spike and Denzel back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another director and actor that worked that much together.
And I mean,
Johnny Depp and Tim. What's his name?
Tim Burton. Yeah. That's a good point.
Back in the day,
they do that.
But it's all back in the day. Like now, you got those two. You got Ryan and Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But Michael B. He definitely was able to create two different twins.
I hope he wins something. I hope he gets considered for something.
It was subtle enough, because when you gotta act two different characters. You can do two things. You can go super extreme, where it's just completely ditzy, where okay, this is obvious, goofy to goofy to serious. You can do that easy because you can see the extreme as I can tell the difference. Or you can do it where it don't even you can't even tell the difference. Like if it's bad,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know which one is which. Like okay, why are you even twins?
No,
And that's
he
the
did
thing.
it.
He did it subtle enough where you can see that they're twins, but
Mm-hmm.
then and then the film style
The
also added to that because I think you
mm-hmm.
mentioned it too, Josh. The color coding that they
Yep.
did.
They
So yeah, that was
color
pretty
matching.
cool.
They color match both of them
Mm.
to where it looked believable. And I did see an interview earlier today where they or last night when they were talking about how you know we were talking about directing. Michael B. Jordan basically had to direct his. He had to have while he's doing one part when he's playing Smoke, he has to have some double here, some guy here to play the stand-in for Stack. And so he had to direct this guy on
While
the
he's playing,
movements that he anticipated on doing on to when they go
interesting.
record take two. When he goes over here and
Mm.
play Stack, he got to remember what he told the guy. Like the guy, okay, you're going to pass me the joint with your left hand. You're going to keep your face like this. And then you're going to, and then I'm going to take it. And then you're going to take it back like this. And like, so he had to study it himself. Like he basically had to choreograph his own
Wow,
movements
wow.
and and translate that to his understudy, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a lot of collaboration went into this.
Mm.
Mm.
And then like when he was playing like the different parts, the chick who played Annie, Wumi Masaku, uh, she was like, after they did the scene with her and Smoke, she stayed in place or something, and then he went and had to get in the character. Stack came back. She didn't see him come back, but she knew that he had come back. She wasn't looking at him, but she could feel that it was a different person in the room now. Like, oh
Interesting.
shit, this isn't the same guy
Mm-hmm.
that I just did the scene with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was
That's some
killing.
good acting.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah,
the
And just
character.
be in character like that. Be two
Yeah,
different
yeah.
characters. And it felt like it. It
yeah.
really did feel like it. Him playing the two characters is like, yeah, our sister Siobhan was right. Like Smoke felt more like Michael B. Jordan kind of that he would play, and then Stax was like, this is like a different guy.
Yeah.
So that I think the difference is Smoke. The reason he feels more like Michael B. Jordan is because he's more predictable. Stack is way less predictable. You don't
Mm.
really know what he gonna do or what
Mm-hmm.
his mo is like or how tricky he has a very trickster energy about him though.
Yeah,
He
but
feels like a trickster.
he feels like the younger brother though. Like he kind of like has that, younger brother vibe.
Oh yeah, the first thing that happened, their first scene, Andy whispered to me, she was like, "I bet you, I bet you, Stax is the younger brother."
Yep. You can kind of feel it.
I
Like
was
and
like,
that's
yeah,
and that's like that's exactly what it was. Like cuz Smoke looked way like more responsible, more focused.
Way more
They're
serious.
both lethal.
yes,
They're both unapologetically like they're who they they names precede them, which I love the way that they made that. But yeah, Smoke was more serious, more focused, and Stack was like he ready. So yeah. Um
And those names are dope too. Smokestack. That's like Smokestack Lightning, like Howlin' Wolf Blue, Mississippi Blue shit.
oh yeah, it's
Which
dope.
is
Mississippi.
Smokestack talking about the train, and then the train go from Mississippi to Chicago. So then
Which
you
they
got the
talk about that.
Smokestack
Yep,
twins
yep.
who was
There it
back and forth
is.
from
There
Mississippi
it
to
is.
Chicago.
There it
Like that
is.
whole
And it's
shit is
brilliant.
right there. It's
It's right
brilliant.
there.
mm.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. What's some of the stuff that you noticed about the film style? I know one of the things that Ryan Coogler, you mentioned it earlier, like he filmed it for us to go to the theater. Like, and
Right.
it's like not just
Large
something.
format.
And so just thinking about some of the just cinematography, some of the, photo, just what are some things you guys notice about that?
I always prefer the richness of film and the color saturation of film over anything.
Mm,
Digital, you can get crispy, all crispy, digitized, ultra enhanced shit. You can see shit you ain't even know was there
mm,
on some digital shit. It'll auto try to enhance it and shit. Like, but film, the exposure of film is made for large format
mm,
because of the number of grains you have in the film. Like you can go super large with film, and it's just gonna look beautiful if you expose it right
Yeah.
and know what you're doing. And like Josh was saying about the color correction, it was all that. It looks good no matter what, you know.
Mm.
Because I was going like this over my glasses or whatever,
Hmm.
and it looked good either way.
Yeah.
Like,
So for me, there was like, yeah, definitely the color stuff. I saw somebody say that it was kind of dark through a lot of the movie, but I'm like, that's on purpose because
right,
you got the vampire's eyes glowing,
right,
Mm.
that kind of thing. And it's like, because there's one scene where it's like you see a bunch of eyes, you see a bunch
yeah,
of lights, and then you just see two eyes kind of
yeah,
Yeah,
glowing, and I
that
was
was
like, that
pretty
was really
creepy.
cool.
I loved the
yeah.
effects though.
He did a few one shot takes
Yes, yes.
that I liked.
I love one shot
Those
take.
were
Me and Josh
amazing.
love one shot take.
Those were
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
I know at least two of them. I'm not gonna mention
Mm-hmm.
one of them because I think that's in the spoiler type
Mm-hmm.
section. Even though people probably talking about this scene a lot without.
But yeah,
Well, yeah,
the other one, the
It
beginning
was an
one was
early
the
really
one in the
one.
fun.
beginning
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yes,
Where they're
yes.
just
When
in the town.
yeah, that was a good one. It was like
Yeah,
he
it
he
felt like
even
a
need to
Spike
do
Lee.
that,
Talk
but it
about
was
it a little
cool.
bit.
It was just beautiful. It was just
Well,
there's
it
this
was at the
small town and
store.
they're going back
Yeah,
and
they're showing
forth.
them at the store. Like it was like, go get your mama, and the girl is walking. You're following the girl going across the street to where her mama is, and then she was like, Dad wants you. And then you follow the mama back to the store, and it was like, that was just a good shot.
It
Yeah,
was. It was simple, but it was, and you can kind of see the
it
commotion of
looks
what's going
simple.
on. Right, it looks simple,
It
but it
looks
definitely
simple.
is complex. Like it's
That's a
that's the
choreographed
that's
shot.
brilliant though. That was really
Right.
brilliant.
Anytime there's a good one shot, I feel like sometimes I can't enjoy movies. Well, I think I enjoy them in a different way. When
What do
I
you
was
mean?
a kid watching movies, it just seemed like magic that I'm watching these shots come together. But as an adult and aspiring writer and you know film person
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, like looking at it like from a director lens, I'm like that looked like a real simple shot. Like the way Josh just described it, back and forth across the
Yeah.
street, it's nothing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the most complex shots in the movie. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like they had to know when everybody was supposed to pass by the camera. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the last dope one shot I seen in a movie like that in a black movie was on Straight Outta Compton when they were at the party.
Yes,
When
that's
they were in
yep.
the
That's maybe the
hotel
one.
and it
Yeah,
was
that
going
Mm-hmm.
one.
through the hotel.
Yes,
That was so
Mm-hmm.
yes,
tight, man. And then
yes. The
they did a
Bifelicia
couple of
scene.
those. They did the By Felicia and they did the house party at the
Oh
pool when they
yeah.
had the people in the pool and shit.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, like I always love a good one shot like that.
Yeah, and then there's some symbolism. He'll throw in little symbols in the
Mm-hmm.
movie for
Mm.
people to catch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's probably some stuff y'all caught that I didn't catch, but the ones that I caught was like there was crosses
Throughout.
throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was some crosses in the background. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I saw crosses throughout, but I didn't see the one you were talking about the other day. It was on
oh,
the
with
phone
the yeah, it was like
with the
because it was
light
outside
poles.
when the when the light post thing when those posts it was shaped like a cross and it was
Oh,
right behind the main vampire. I
interesting.
remember that because I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of obvious to me.
Mm.
And one of the
Did you
biggest
see that,
things,
Jason?
I didn't notice until
Yeah,
I'm looking
I
at
didn't
it in my
notice that.
mind now. Yeah.
and one of the biggest ones for me is like, and y'all will see this when you rewatch the movie. Once they get the juke joint going, there's a light fixture that goes around
The
the,
stage, you see?
around the stage part, and there's lights that's kind of separated, and they kind of make a red line around the entire stage, and the lights are kind of separate in that way, and it looks like a giant mouth.
I did
Mm.
not notice that.
You will notice it the next time you see it.
Okay.
The fact that I pointed out,
Yeah, I
and
will
it was
definitely
like
look
that's
for
where
that.
everybody was dancing and stuff, and it looked like a giant mouth. And
Interesting.
then this happened before things went down, and I was like,
Interesting.
that can't be a coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting.
So
Okay.
as a filmmaker, I noticed.
Yeah,
little,
you be
you know,
noticing
I have
stuff.
to.
You be noticing stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
So
only things I noticed.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Y'all probably know some other stuff, or you probably will pick up some stuff when you rewatch it,
Mhm.
because
right,
this movie
right.
definitely has a rewatch appeal to it.
Good
Absolutely.
replay value, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
So
few one shots in this movie.
they had a
Now that
couple
I'm
of those.
recalling, yeah.
And so I mean, just as a film, just like as a film nerd, like you would enjoy watching it, you know? So like
Mhm.
if you just figure out like what is this movie, just like look at it with your film eye, like you will actually enjoy those things. And I think From the writing perspective too, it's very unique, and it has a lot of symbolism that I think when you look at it and watch it, you can kind of start seeing. And of course, like I said, the acting, like every actor, I think brought
let's talk
their
about the actors of
personalities.
this movie. We already talked
Yeah.
about Michael B. Jordan. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
other actors in this
Yeah.
movie.
Shit, who we starting with then?
I mean, I
tell
like
you,
Delroy
Yeah.
Lindo,
Yeah,
Delta
yeah.
Slim.
Talk about Delroy
I mean,
Lindo.
he had a great, like, his personality was
he
amazing.
had a great Mississippi accent.
Yeah,
Because
Mississippi
at one point he
accent.
said something about waking or something. He was like, and I'm
Mississippi.
like, man,
if he's in the
Mississippi.
movie, you know he's going to do his part.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
That's just
I'm
100%.
I never doubt his acting. But I know whatever role you put him in, he's gonna kill that shit. And we've seen him in all kinds of roles.
All
Right.
kinds. Delta Slim. He's
Yeah,
like, I got to play in
veteran.
Memphis.
He's the veteran of the movie.
So yeah. And I
Omar
like
Benson
yeah,
Miller.
Yeah, he's
Cornbread.
Yep.
I like him in everything I've seen him in.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was good to see him in this movie because I hadn't seen him in a while in movies.
And his introduction.
He's
was
one of those
fun.
guys that doesn't age either.
He got a baby face.
He's 46. He going on 46. 6'6" too.
Wow.
Oh wow. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Then you
going
got
to the IMDb list.
introducing Miles, aka who played Sammy.
Yeah.
Miles
Caden.
Caton. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had such a unique voice. Like he had
his voice is deeper than his
face. Yeah, his voice was very deep. That's one thing I did notice. He was very, very deep.
He felt like a
How you doing?
blues.
My name is Preacher Boy.
Yeah. I liked his voice though. It was fun. And he definitely he held his own with these legends.
Yeah.
So
Folks
that
didn't
was
know.
really good.
Wumi Masako.
Yeah, she played the character of Annie.
Yeah, we know she's been in the MCU and
we know her from Loki and from
right. Yep.
And that show
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, Lovecraft Country. Like she's on the come up for real. Like, I mean, well, she's
British and she did a really good.
She's British
Southern accent. Yes,
I did not know that.
No.
She's that good.
After seeing her in that many stuff now, I've seen her in a lot of stuff now. Yeah,
she did really show up at the end of Deadpool.
Yeah, she was in Deadpool.
Oh yeah, she did. Yep, that's right. Because she's on a part of the TVA.
Yeah.
So,
well, because of Loki, she was a big character in Loki,
right?
And so she kind of runs the TVA now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She got promoted in Loki. Yeah, she did great. Yeah. She was probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. Honestly.
Yeah, she was definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
Like she was the one that knew what was going on. You always have that character that knows what's going on. Like,
right.
Oh,
you
this
need
is
that
what
kind
we're
of
dealing
character.
with.
Yeah,
you really do.
Kind of character to kind of give you
the
ins and outs.
And we have Haley Steinfeld, who is playing an older role now because she always plays a young person, and this one's like, oh, she's not a kid anymore.
Right. She's almost 30 in real life.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I found that up. I said, she's 29 years old. I was like, she's been playing a kid for like 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that she plays Spider Gwen.
Yeah.
She's Gwen Stacy. Yeah, Spider Gwen.
Yeah, she was in the Bumblebee movie. She's also in the MCU as Kate Bishop, Hawkeye's sidekick.
Oh, yeah.
Or replacement or whatever.
Okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so we're not in spoilers yet, but I thought that because of the trailer that she was going to be one of the vampires hanging out with the vampires.
Yeah, me
but
too.
when we get introduced to her, she actually knew, like, her mom kind of helped raise Smoke and Stack.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, and she's, kind of part black. Well, she got a little bit of black in her.
Her grandmother was half
passed,
black.
Yeah. So like that's, she would definitely get the one drop rule. She passed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she's passing, so she could, and that's kind of what they did a little bit of that too. Like, cause there was a tension of her own ethnic identity and where she wanted to be.
Right.
And so I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. She keep popping up in these black movies.
yeah. But then you have the Asian couple.
Yeah,
And
Lee
so
Jun
which
Lee,
yeah.
Lee
Uh
Jun Lee, and I can't find the other guy. But yeah,
yeah,
that was that they were talking. There was an article I came across talking about like how there was. It's not just
Yao?
that.
The
There's
guy,
like
yeah, the husband's name is his real name is Yao.
yeah,
mhm.
there's Asian representation in the South, in the deep South at that time too.
Rich, I think I love that is reflected because of that's a lot of missed out history of Mississippi. A lot of
Oh yeah,
Asians came to the Mississippi Delta during
and
that
they were
time
dealing
period.
with shit just like black folks was
Right.
dealing with down here. Like
Yep.
if you seen that exhibit that Without Sanctuary exhibit back in the
Mm.
day, it was some stuff that happened to them too.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Down in the South, and
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Especially
so
after
to
World
And
see
War
them
II.
as a part of the you know
yeah, that was good to see.
community, whatever.
And
So
last but not least, this actress named was it how you pronounce her name? Is it Jamie?
Jamie.
Jamie
Jamie?
Lawson,
Jamie? Jamie
Mm-hmm.
Lawson?
Pearline,
For playing the character Perline.
yeah,
And we have seen her in the Batman, and we didn't even know that. We all had to find that out
Yeah, I didn't
later.
know that till later. Yeah, because I was like, she does look familiar,
she
but
played the
yeah,
mayor in the Batman. You would
she was the
never.
mayor.
It's like, wow, I did not associate that with
Yep.
her.
So yeah, so they're all great actors. Shout out to them. I know you said you mentioned some pros and cons. Is there anything you want to say about that before we move on?
Well, before we move on, one more person I can't believe we're forgetting this person is the guy that played the main vampire.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I
Jack
liked him.
O'Connell, yeah, he was great.
Yeah,
He was
he was
amazing.
pretty charismatic.
yeah,
You
Yeah,
he
know.
he was
was. He
amazing.
was actually pretty charismatic.
Yeah, he felt like a vampire because vampires are supposed to be alluring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way
They're
yeah.
supposed to be charismatic, and something about them is charming. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're supposed to be charmed by the vampire. That's how they work.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I thought he was great.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
really like. We'll get into it later, I guess. I like the separation of the style of music between the vampire people and the local people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack O'Connor. What has he played in? I'm trying to see
Mm.
if I've seen him in anything before. I don't think I have.
Yeah.
No, I haven't
So
seen him
yeah,
before.
that's that's the characters. So you got pros and cons?
So for me, the cons for me honestly was the trailer.
Mm.
Because the trailer, me and Marcus talked about this. The trailer, especially if you go back and look at the trailer now, it literally shows the third act. They take scenes from the third act
Mm.
for the entire trailer. It literally starts off with Smokes rolling up a cigarette and he's all like shaking and stuff, and I'm like, that's the end of the movie.
But the
Yeah.
thing about the trailer is I wasn't bothered by that because when you're watching the trailer, you don't know that. You
That's
just
true.
see,
You don't know that.
it's just you're just seeing good moments, but he still, even though it's taken out of the third act, when you're watching the trailer before you see the movie, even before you see the movie, that trailer doesn't spoil anything.
Yeah, but it does though, because it showed Stax being a vampire
When?
in the trailer. Jason's nodding his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. He
They
knocked
show
his
him.
yeah, they show him knocking out the like busting through the door.
Yeah, they show him hitting his head against the door and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and Annie saying that's not your brother and stuff. Like he's like, let me in,
Yeah.
y'all let me out or something. And she's
So
like, that's
I
not
feel
your
like
brother.
yeah.
So
They showed that in the trailer. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like they could
I
have like that.
still I wasn't.
I think that was too much though. I think that was too much because
You
I
think
feel
that
like
was giving away too much?
I think it was.
I think
would have
so,
liked.
too,
I would have liked
and-
it more if it wasn't there. I mean, I liked it, but I'm saying like,
And even with the first trailer, it shows Haley Steinfeld as a vampire as well.
With her eyes
That's why I
glowing
said
and
when
stuff.
I thought right. That's why I thought she was one of the vampires. And until you watch the movie, it's like, oh, she's not. So
So I
if I
mean,
didn't watch this trailer, I would
so
probably enjoy the movie more.
and I think this is probably what some people have tension with, because some people say, and I think you said it to me, like it's a slow burn. The movie is a slow burn because, and some people, like you mentioned earlier, like the whole comparison between Dusk Till Dawn, because the trailer focused on the vampire part, it made it like like it was just a vampire movie. And I think
Right.
that
I
if you
find it funny
think,
that people were surprised that it was a vampire movie
well,
because
no,
I
I don't
thought
think
the
anybody was
trailer was so
surprised. No,
obvious.
I don't think people were surprised that it was a vampire movie. I think that people were expecting it to be a vampire movie based off the
Yeah,
trailer,
yeah, that's what I
and they were
think too.
surprised that it didn't jump right into vampirism because it was
Right.
different.
They expected Blade,
right?
like
Let's go to the vampire origin, like let's go through the vampire story. And I think that it was
where
like,
it's not a vampire movie.
so
This is
that
not a
might
vampire
be,
movie, honestly.
which that's the thing I think that I would say is if you expect it to be just a your typical vampire movie, you may be disappointed because of whatever your expectations is. But if you actually go to the movie with a more open mind of like, let me see this as a film and see what Ryan Coogler's trying to do, then you'll see the flow of the I don't think you would consider it as a slow burn. You would actually see the establishment of the world, and then as you walk into that world, you'll be able to engage with it. I do feel like I would have liked it better, like if I didn't even know it was a vampire movie and I saw it, like, oh man,
That's how
vampires.
I feel too. That's what I'm saying.
I wish I would have able to, because I kind of was like hoping to not see nothing.
Wait. Let me think about
that. Like if you're just watching a movie, and
they didn't give clues at the beginning.
They give you
like,
clues,
you let the devil
but if you had no
wait. Like if
no
I
idea
didn't know
that it was vampires.
So if the trailer didn't have the Michael B. Jordan knocking his head up against the door part,
right.
Because I feel like everything else still doesn't really spoil anything. All right, so let's see. All right, take away the vampire
Haley Steinfeld
blood
being a vampire.
Take away Haley Steinfeld. Just take away half of the trailer. Okay.
Yep. So it's a thriller,
just take
but you
away
don't know
most
why.
of the trailer.
Yeah, most of the trailer. It's like, is it a thriller? What is this?
But what trailer would you have then?
You wouldn't. I mean, that's the thing.
That's
you see what I'm saying? Like, you got to have a trailer.
I get it.
You got to have people who come to the theater.
To get to the theater, and you said this earlier too when we were on the phone, Josh. Like Ryan Coogler's name will get me to the theater. Like it's like,
that's for us people who are fans.
Right, you got to be.
Like,
but if you ain't, if you trying to,
but I'm saying all you had for me, you just had a title card, center, starring Michael B. Jordan, written and directed by Ryan Coogler. I would have been in there.
That's it for me, right?
But the audience, it wouldn't have been. I think the ticket sales and the audience would have been like, unless you are a Ryan Coogler fan, and Michael B. Jordan, But I think the trailer itself brought out people who probably wasn't Michael Coogler, Ryan Coogler fans in the beginning.
That's true.
It probably broadened. I'm sure this broadened his audience, and so like,
because vampires do sell. Vampires sell because we know that from the beginning.
Well, any of his movies should broaden his audience because every time he do a new movie, he break it into a new genre.
That's true.
So.
Black Panther was his biggest movie of all time.
Yeah,
right.
And that, and like, then people watched that not knowing who he was. A lot of people,
right.
And I can't imagine what kind of trailer they would have without showing some of the vampire stuff. Because like the vampire shit is like through Act 2 through the rest of the movie. Like there's vampire hunters in this movie.
Oh yeah.
They do.
I wish they forgot about that.
They didn't bring them back.
They're vampire hunters.
I would like to see more about them. Yeah, I thought they were going to come back.
Now, what I would say, the con for me, here's the con for me, is that it didn't go where and it's a very small con.
Okay.
Because the pro kind of equals
outweighs. Okay.
All right. So
of course,
my con is what I wanted to happen didn't happen. I thought, are we in the spoilers yet?
Not yet.
Almost there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll get to the spoiler and then remind me of my con. Ask me what my con was.
Okay. Because I actually want to hear ratings before we do our spoilers, so people that listen to see if we want to listen to more. So, but is there any other things we want to say in this section? Before you talk.
There's a lot of pros.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about
it's way more pros than cons.
We've talked about the cinematography. That's a pro.
Yeah.
The characters is a pro.
Yep.
Just the story itself is a pro. So there's a lot of pros with this.
Yeah.
Michael B.
We
Jordan
mentioned
playing
action.
both of those characters.
Yeah.
That's a pro.
And
Like
playing
just
them
everything
well,
about
right.
playing them well.
Yeah.
You know, me and
It's a
Marcus
good
kind
movie
of
for
said
the
that's
theater.
kind of us. We could play those characters.
Brothers, your twins, y'all could have did that. Who
No, I'm
would've
talking
been
about
who?
like because we was talking about like how Marcus could play Stacks and I could play Smoke.
Yeah, that makes
There's
sense.
something that Smoke does that made him one of my favorite characters. I'll mention that in spoilers.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
Except I don't look like that.
No, neither
don't look
No
of us
one
do.
looks like
No,
Michael B.
no,
Jordan,
nobody's-
but
So
Michael
that's
B.
the
Jordan.
end of the show.
And that's the con. That's the con. None of us look like
That's
Michael
the
B.
con.
Jordan.
That's the con is against myself.
Listen. Michael B. Jordan had his braids like I did back in the Wire days, and I was like, yeah. And then he just got ripped.
So, Marcus had mentioned to me earlier. He said he's trying to convince Tori to watch it, and she doesn't want to see it. And I'm like, just tell her Michael B. Jordan is in it twice.
Twice. Like, it's got 2 Michael B. Jordans in it.
That's
What
how
more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? 2 Michael B. Jordans. Get your wives in there. Watch the
To get my wife.
Mentioned it. Oh man. All right.
So ratings.
Yes. What would you say your rating is?
My rating is a high sequel.
High sequel. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, I would say not a sequel, but a high prequel. I want a prequel.
Okay.
I
You
want
want
a
a
prequel.
smokestack movie.
I want a smokestack movie. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that vampire. Those vampire hunters.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know what's. Yeah, I want to see some stuff going on, and then a possible sequel to see what happens after the movie. Kind of thing.
There's space.
There's
You
definitely
can
some
talk
stuff
about
with some.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel that takes place in the 90s. That would be cool.
Right? I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, I would agree with Josh. A high sequel, just shy of a neck bleed, because a lot of necks bled.
I mean, I was gonna say it is a vampire movie.
Mostly necks bled in this movie, so it's just shy of a neck bleed.
Yeah.
For the musical stuff alone.
not quite, Jason.
Not
quite.
Not quite. But it's right there though, you know. And so
yeah,
I agree with Josh. I would like to either see a prequel or a sequel.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would say, I mean, honestly, for me, like I told you beginning, like all I need to know is Ryan Coogler and Michael B. and I'll be in the theater. I think it didn't disappoint, and maybe because it was in Mississippi,
Maybe
neck bleed.
Yeah.
Is it a neck bleed for you, for real?
It's a neck bleed for me. It's a neck bleed.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very enjoyable. It's kind of all the good ratings in one, though, right? Like it's a replay.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It's all the good ratings at the same time.
Because I'm tempted to watch this movie again in the theater.
Oh, I'm going to the theater.
Yeah.
To watch it again. Oh,
to watch it again.
Because I might have to watch it, even though it's a long movie. That's the thing about it. It's a long movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
It's over
and watch
2 hours
it
long.
It's because ain't it the IMAX in Madison?
There's an IMAX. Yeah, there's an IMAX. So he
yeah,
said he made
I'm
it for
gonna go
IMAX.
again
So
and
I
see
kind of
it.
want to watch it in IMAX.
You know what I'm saying? I made it for IMAX.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna go see that shit.
So
Because the last movie that was made for IMAX was, what was it called?
Nope.
Red One. I'm talking about the
Well,
last
the one
movie
that I saw. Yeah.
Red One was made for. That's what The Rock kept saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I saw that on TV. But
Yeah, I know
on
y'all
my
did.
phone.
Both y'all did. I'm the only one that saw it in the theater.
theaters. Okay. So yeah, that's our ratings. Which, if you haven't listened to us before, that's the highest you can get is neck bleed. So, oh man. All right. Well, now we're in our spoiler section, so we're gonna talk about this more. So if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out at your leisure. Check it out in IMAX. Go to the theater. Don't watch it on your phone. Don't watch the bootleg.
First of all, support black movies. Support original movies.
Yeah. We want
Both.
to see more of that.
That's what this
And that's the
is.
thing.
We need more of this.
Box
We need more black
office-
movies and original movies.
Yeah, box
And
office
this is
sales-
both.
Box office sales do reflect things to Hollywood. They're like, oh, okay, people like this stuff, and so that's the kind of stuff that we want to see more of. So
Right.
um, it's harder to track the bootleg sales because they don't sell.
At least
So
black
yeah,
people are coming out to see this movie. I've
yeah,
been seeing a lot of
yep,
people saying they
yeah,
went and watched this movie.
Oh
So
yeah, our audience was mostly black, female.
yeah. That was a lot. Yeah,
Wouldn't you
it
say
was,
we
yeah.
heard a lot of female, like
They
and
were
young,
like,
like
don't
sound
look
like
at the
they were like
don't
maybe
don't
college age
don't
or
go
late,
don't go back,
late high
don't
school.
go in there.
Yeah, don't go in there. Oh, my grandma used to say that. Yeah, like so
Yeah,
it was
yep,
some
yep.
cool stuff
Because the whole
that I
hoodoo
heard in
stuff,
the
that was
audience.
definitely
Yeah,
some things
yeah.
that was
We in
like my grandma
Mississippi, so a
said.
lot of this shit is like it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
really
meanwhile,
cool.
in my audience, don't go in there.
that was you. That was you. Why are you far
That was
away
me.
from yourself?
No, that's the entire theater. You
Oh,
just hear
okay,
me.
okay, okay. You just hear yourself.
Don't go in there.
That's the drunk dude. The drunk
That's the
dude
guy next to me drinking his beer.
drinking his beer. Okay. So, but yeah, I had a couple as we talk about our spoiler section. I had a couple themes that I wanted to talk about, but as you think about this movie, one of the themes that was clear is religion. We kind of mentioned a little hoodoo, but it's about a son that's a preacher kid, and he's like dealing with this tension between like, do I play like because he's told his dad I'm gonna play on Sunday, and but I gotta go to the club and play my music, and so like he's like, well, go on play your center, he didn't say that, but it's like there's this, and I think this is where the title comes from. It's like, okay, you going in this juke joint, that's where the sinners be at. So thinking about religion, how do you see that kind of play in this movie? This organized religion and this ancestral kind of religion, and the characters fight against evil, because you see that with Annie too. So like it's something to talk about.
I
So
don't know.
it's a lot of like when you talking about Mississippi, it's a lot of there's a deep religious um atmosphere and the politics and just around the area and the Bible Belt and all this
Mm-hmm.
that come with deep South history,
Yeah.
deeply Christian uh religion. And so there's also like the conflict between like the organized Christian religion and the spiritual practices that we would have brought with us
Ancestors.
from the continent. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, and they actually show that in this movie. And like,
I feel like in the middle of the movie, you whispered to me, it was like, this movie was made for me.
yeah, I was like, this is like, because it reminds me of me and Tori. There's a character in this movie that reminds me a lot of Tori. And
You literally was saying, Tori just did this this
right,
morning.
right, because there's certain like just certain rituals and just things we do to honor our ancestors, and like what I'm saying, just we call their name, and like sometimes me and Tori light a candle depending on who's that. Like we light a candle for y'all's dad, like on a certain day, like on his
Yeah.
like if I know his birthday or the
Yeah.
the day he transitioned, like I light a candle. Sometimes I don't even tell you, I just do it.
Mm,
Because he's on the ancestral realm. And
yeah.
this isn't the first time that Ryan Coogler not only mentioned but illustrated the ancestral
Right.
realm.
He did that in Black
He
Panther.
did it in Black Panthers
Mm-hmm.
on both movies, I think.
Yep.
And so he obviously has some kind of tie to that himself, and or some kind of really good consultant, like because all right, so when you remember earlier, I was talking about "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you remember in that movie they had the guitar player who was the character who he sold his soul. He made a
Yeah.
deal with the devil
Yeah.
to be like
Mm-hmm.
a really good guitar
Right.
player and stuff. There's a similar conflict in this movie, like you said, with the preacher man. What's his name? Preacher boy,
Sammy. But yeah, preacher.
Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy.
Um, his conflict with his dad being a pastor and his dad being like, I just related to Sammy so much because it was like my dad isn't a pastor, but
He played
he's the
music in the
son of
church.
a pastor. He plays music for the church, and I make custom music for the secular music. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
we had a similar conflict in my home, but I wasn't faced with any kind of ultimatum, but they would always bother with some of the things that I would say or some of the language I would use or whatever. But I'm like, but I'm really good at this thing, or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so like there's a crossroads that you come to, which is funny because symbolism in the movie, if you talk about Oh Brother Where Art Thou, the dude who played the guitar, who made the deal with the devil at the crossroads, remember? And they went to the crossroads and they found him standing there. That he had just made the deal and he had his guitar.
Yeah.
To me, that crossroads also represents like the conflict where you got to make a choice for yourself. There's a African deity, and I think the name is a Leguan, and it's basically the guardian of the crossroads, and like it'll help you or help you like make a decision, but sometimes it'll give you like a tricky answer to throw you off. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't learn that he tricked you until you realize that you've been tricked. And so that trickster element calls, European folks to refer to him as the devil at the crossroad. So like, I feel like there was a lot of that stuff weaved into this movie. Like a
Yeah.
lot of that research went
That makes
into this
sense.
movie and these characters. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Because in the movie, the reason why the vampires was there, Sammy attracted them with his plan. That's what happened. They showed up
Yeah.
because of his plan.
Yeah.
They heard
And
his
because
music.
he's a griot, he's a storyteller through the music, and they got into this right at the beginning of the movie.
They broke it
They
down
talk
early
about
on.
how the griots, the storytellers, the artists, the musicians, we conjure spiritual portals when we playing.
It's
When we
real.
making this music, this shit is
Yeah,
real.
it's definitely real, and I think that's probably why. I mean, even if you think about the spiritual realm, music absolutely
It
taps into
cracks
a
that shit
spiritual realm.
wide open.
It absolutely does that, and that's
Yeah, because Soul kind of touched
Yep.
on this a little bit.
Yep. When he got in the zone,
Yeah,
when he went in the
yeah,
zone and nothing else mattered and time
yeah,
stopped and space didn't matter and he was just in a whole different realm. That's what that shit
right,
is.
right.
And
Yeah,
they talk about past, present, and future. It opens up, and it's the thing about the spiritual realm being open. It illustrated in Doctor Strange. You're open to a lot of good shit, but you also could be open to a lot of not so good
yeah,
shit if you
true.
ain't careful.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And
So,
that's, I mean, that's
but
the warning that the pastor was
yep,
saying. He's like,
yep,
hey, like you do this kind of stuff,
yep,
you open it up to this other stuff, which I think,
right.
which I valued the warning.
Mm-hmm.
I also, cause like I'm unapologetic, follow, Jesus. And so like, and so I think I was interested to see which I also have tension with the organized, colonized, religion that,
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about that all day, but like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that, I do see that the writer, he's trying to like expose some of that colonized religion, and
Mm-hmm.
so in response of giving more homage to this is where I believe that it's not necessarily uh, the following the scriptures is not necessarily opposed to
Right.
directly opposed to
What's good and
ancestry
evil
stuff,
and
because if you look at
ancestral
so like even
reverence.
like
Right.
because I mean I think that in scripture literally there's a verse that talks about like the great cloud of witnesses, like you follow them,
Mm.
like so I mean like you can actually, if you actually decolonize your theology, I believe that you can see the scripture through um African lenses, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what I don't think that this movie does that, like I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
does that. I think it takes the side of
It considers everything because that's all our history too. Like
it is
that's all us.
but one thing is like, okay, you mentioned the cross symbolism,
Mm-hmm.
and holy water is like how you fight fight demons. I mean, how you fight
Vampires.
cross with the vampires and the holy water. They didn't really do that. It wasn't Catholic, so usually it's Catholic stuff. They didn't deal with any of the Catholic stuff to stop the
holy water is holy water.
Right, it is. But they use garlic. They use garlic water though. They didn't use holy water.
That's right.
So it's like, so
okay,
there's
that makes
so
sense.
that, but I mean, I think that's just a reflection of it. I don't think that that was part of what happened, but it's all those are there, and he did find solace back with his father. He was like, there was a hug, but there was still a decision. He was like, look, I can be with you.
Right. He
and
made up
and he
with
knows
his
the
father,
verse,
but he still established himself.
Yeah,
and he knew the verse. What was the verse about?
The scripture was like,
he
no temptation is, sees you except what's coming to man. But
So what did it mean when he started singing "This Little Light of Mine" and then all the vampires were singing it too?
Yeah, that's that right there. Because
it was just showed that he was a griot, and they were attracted to his light. Like moths. When he starts singing, it's a spiritual thing, and it singing that song didn't necessarily repel them,
right? It was because they did did they do the prayer, the Lord's Prayer?
Yeah. He did the Lord's Prayer.
They all said it. They all said it. It was like they didn't.
I think that's the equivalent to like in the Bible, the devil can quote a Bible verse too.
That's exactly what I was saying. It was like, it was like they ain't gonna stop me. Like just because you're saying these little verses, they don't mean nothing to me.
I know all this stuff.
I know
too.
the verses too. So I feel like that was definitely what that was. It was like, like you can say that all day long, but that's not gonna stop evil. And I think that's interesting because I think that's a tension that we see that in scripture too. Like Jesus. The devil's quoted scripture against Jesus. Like, it's like you just because you know the verses don't mean nothing. There's something more powerful that you got to encounter. And I think that's where
you can see that today. You see people who are just horrible people saying
quoting scriptures.
Scripture.
Literally. I think I read something about the 47th talking about Happy Easter to all these leftists. He said the president was like, Happy Easter to all the evil leftist, white people. Is like, oh my goodness, he just goes in, he's, all this stuff. So yeah, they can quote scripture all day long and still be evil. Right. That don't mean nothing. But I think there's something more powerful. I think there's something powerful about music. So even as you think about like how music like served in this movie, it was a major theme. I feel like this movie was more about music than it was about vampires. That's my argument.
Was 100% was more about music. I got that while I was watching it, especially when the big scene happened and everyone's talking about. We got to talk about that scene.
Talk about the scene, Josh. Talk about that scene.
My favorite scene.
It's the favorite scene. It's the best scene.
It's the best scene. Everybody agrees this was like the best scene of the movie. When Sammy is playing and he's talking about how it's conjuring up spirits from the past, present, and future. And he's seeing all these different types of people dancing through
black
the
music, right?
Yes, to the point where you're seeing like
by the time the
scratching a record player and stuff, and people are booty dancing.
But you got the DJ, twerking. You got the funk guitar, you got the blues.
By the time the funk man came in, I was like, hell yeah, this is tight as fuck. They had the electric.
I think that's when you told me that it was movie was made for you at that point.
Movie made for me. And then they had the DJ scratching, and then they went all the way up to twerking in the late 2020s.
African people dancing. It was just everything. It was just like, wow, this was like showing you all the different type of black cultures throughout time, all there, all getting involved in this music, and that was
and how one thing came from the other, begat the other, begat the other, begat the other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it all comes back to
it all comes back to the It's all connected,
and that was the I think that like him playing. I remember in the roof started getting on fire, and I was thinking about that. The roof is on fire.
Obviously, I think that was obvious. I was thinking that too.
But
that's how the vampires saw them.
Yeah,
when the place was all burnt down in their eyes, even though the place wasn't really burnt down. But that's how the vampires saw them.
That was their visual of their effect of their music. You know what I'm saying? Like they're attracted to it, but they're tapped into them. You know, the evil spirits is tapped into them portal. So.
And you mentioned earlier, Mark, about how you like the contrast between the style of music between the vampires and the style of the
vampires' music was just as good. as the
Yeah, they
juke
pointed
joint
that.
music,
Yeah, they pointed that out.
but it was just a different type of music. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like more kind of Irish sounding and more the hard
Yeah.
clapping, hard stomping, which is has a very spiritual effect in
Yeah.
itself.
It kind of
When you
reminded me
hear
of
that shit loud,
it kind of reminded me of that
like you
Titanic
gotta move.
scene, the
Oh
Right.
Irish
yeah, and
That's what it
Titanic.
reminded me
Yeah,
of. That's
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So honestly, when they came up to the door and they were playing the music and stuff, for me, I was like, if I didn't know they were vampires, I would have been like, let them in.
Yeah. Yeah. It
To
seemed
be
like some
completely
guys just
honest,
want to
But
be
this is
yeah.
the thing. This is the thing. Is like they definitely were hesitant to invite them in.
I mean,
back
they're white people in the
in that
1930s.
time, right?
That's
In
yeah,
that time in
that makes
1932 in Mississippi, I wouldn't have let them in either.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
But
Smokes pointed out without even knowing they're vampires. He said somebody will step on somebody's shoe and they would
Yeah.
act
Yeah.
crazy, and then
Yeah. Like
that's
then
it.
what?
And he's
Then
right
what?
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like you can invite them in, but they still white and it's 1932. If
right.
y'all want to go to a juke joint, go down in town where there's plenty of place open. And so, but I also feel like their desire to get from Sammy, I feel like is a reflection of a little bit of appropriation. You know, like they want to get his music. Like
yeah,
they
Yeah.
yeah,
want,
no, they represent the record labels.
yeah, yeah. Oh, talk about that, Mark. Talk about
Mm.
that.
They represent the record labels that want to just they hear record labels can recognize good infectious music and uh good sound and good promising artists, and they want a piece of that shit. They want to
Mm.
capitalize and get in on that shit. They represent the in a literal sense the blood sucking scoundrels of the
Wow.
music industry. You know
The
what I'm saying? That's what they
blood
Wow,
represent.
that's
sucking
I didn't even think of that.
scoundrels. I
That's
don't
but
think,
yeah.
They're
man,
literally vampires.
vampires. The record labels are the
Yeah.
Wow.
And
vampires.
the people the smokestack twins represent the DIY do it yourself kind of underground, like just raw, what I'm saying, that raw
Yeah.
shit. You
Which,
remember at that real shit. You remember at the end, since we spoke, you remember
yeah,
at
when they
the
spoil it.
end, Michael B. Jordan was like, yeah, I ain't like all that electric shit. I like that real shit. He
Mm-hmm.
was when he says real shit, he's talking about the shit he grew up on in the early 1900s, like
Right.
acoustic guitar, stomping and
Hmm.
clapping, and
Mm-hmm.
some piano, some good ring a ding dong or whatever they
But
call it.
that's the power of music
Yeah.
and the power of just the raw, authentic. I mean, I think it does it reflects our culture, it reflects the resistance, and we can even, and that's why that scene is so powerful because the scene of all the music from past, present, and future, music has
Mm-hmm.
always been a sign of our resistance from from slavery, like we sing our songs of guiding our way to the freedom. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
sing our songs to resist
I think
against
old
oppressions.
spirituals was
Yes.
like there were messages.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. It
And
was
then you got,
messages and it was transcended. You could sing something and imagine some music, and your spirit could leave your body.
yes.
As your body toils away, your
Yeah.
mind can be completely somewhere else.
And that's powerful because it's like
That's
I'm
very
stuck here.
spiritual and powerful.
Physically I can't control my
Right.
environment. Can't control the people that's doing this to me, but they can't take my voice.
Right.
Even if I can't say my voice out loud, I can think the song in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they can't take
Yep.
that. They can't take me humming. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what is like the power of the resistance. And you think that you see that with the blues. The blues is singing the pain. That's like, oh my goodness, like you
Mm-hmm.
you you transform pain into
They had a scene
into
like that where they
into
illustrated
some
that so
power.
well with Delroy Lindo when he was in the
Mm.
car talking about what happened to his homeboy when he got lynched.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was very effective because they didn't even show the scene of the lynching. They just had the audio of like,
Right. Him
"Hey,
talking
what's
They
about
going on
did.
here?" And you
that
could
he
hear the
could
Yeah,
guy
hear
like
it.
yeah.
That's
he
right.
choked or
I
something
remember
like that.
that. I remember
And then
that.
he was crying about it. Then the cry turns into him humming the blues,
That
and it's like that's what the fucking blues come from.
That's it. That's what it is. That's where it
Like
come from.
when he was
Watch
looked at
Coogler,
Sammy,
man.
he looked at Sammy, he was like, yeah, this the baddest Stack was like, this the baddest blues player,
He's like, what you know about
in
the
the Mississippi.
blues?
Like, what he laughed at it, like, what this
What you
young ass do
know?
know about the blues? You know what I'm
Let me
saying? He
tell
ain't
you
even
about the
been through nothing.
blues. Let me
You know what
tell
I'm
you
saying?
about the blues.
So
Well, Sammy now know about the
yeah,
blues.
he know about the blues. Yeah.
He
By the
been through
end of the
some
movie, he
stuff.
know about the
Oh
He
blues.
yeah,
been through
yeah,
some
yeah. He's
stuff,
definitely.
man.
hmm
So yeah, man,
But I
music.
love at the end of the movie, back to the crossroads and his decision. I love that. I mean, Sammy's my favorite character because I feel like
Okay.
Sammy. I feel like I relate to Sammy, and
Yeah,
like
of course.
at the end of the movie, he had to make a choice. He's like, let go of the guitar. Like, why the guitar isn't evil? The music
Mm-hmm.
isn't evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That was so it's basically like
it's my
the scene is
responsibility with the
so
music.
the scene you're talking about is right after he flees from like
From
the
they
vampire
defeated
thing,
the vampires, and
and so
he's
he's in
just
the
like,
church,
right,
scarred up with a broken
hmm
guitar, and
which is
he's trying
back
to
to the
connect.
first scene of the
Yeah, it was
movie.
very first in the movie. So he's
Hmm.
talking to his
Um,
dad, and his dad's like, "Let go of the guitar."
it's like just let go of the guitar, and it'll be all right. Like, what does the guitar have to do with anything?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
see what I'm saying? Like, I have to do this, so
Yeah.
I have to make this decision for myself. And so when he's making the decision to do it, like the guitar isn't evil. What was evil was a lot of the energy surrounding the environment that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was cool.
No, that's good. I think that's good.
That he still that the solution wasn't to let go of his music, his dream of music, and following his spirit when it come to music.
And
The
that's, I mean, that's
solution was to just be solid in who he is, and just protect
and
himself throughout
so
life. You know what I'm saying?
with you, Mark, you said you relate to that, and so thinking
Mm-hmm.
about how you're like, if you think about, I don't know, crossroad moments for you when it comes to
Uh,
your music, like
uh-huh.
how do you see you preserving your relationship with your family and still maintaining your art?
Uh my family is the most supportive, and they've always been very supportive of my art. And so, you know, throughout the years, and I'm old now, but like throughout the years, like, we had to have conversations like,
Yeah.
look, y'all did a great job raising me, and I know who I am. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
You got
I
good
may say
morals,
certain things,
but you
right? I
got good
may say
morals. You know,
right. I may not have a filter over my mouth all the time, and I have to be very honest in the way I write music, which means
mm,
I may say a damn or a shit or a fuck sometimes. And that's just the way I feel like I have to express in that moment. I'm not relying on it, but
mm,
sometimes that's just how within the context of what I'm saying, it's just how it has to be said.
mm.
And I just stood by that, and they just realized I was doing it on purpose, and that I wasn't gonna stop doing it. And they're very supportive of my
Yeah.
music, and they've
So,
come to my shows, and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So since then, so
so for me, I'm not a musician, but I can relate to what Marcus is doing.
Mm.
Where, I I also grew up in the church, the same church.
yeah. So your dad was the
As a
pastor
preacher,
for a
yes,
while,
yes,
right?
yes. I am a preacher boy.
Yeah, you are a preacher boy. Yeah, that's true. Your dad was the
And
pastor.
my art, a lot of my art is adult. It's very adult. A lot of cursing, a lot of craziness. And I do understand the attracting the dark spirits sometimes along with the good
Mm.
spirits.
Yeah,
Mm.
Because I definitely attracted some people to watch my stuff. It's like, oh, I'm not agreeing with that with them, but
right,
Oh, the
right,
people that watch your stuff, you're like, no, that's not what. Like, just because you like it, don't mean I like what you like. Like that, like the person
yeah,
that watches your
yeah,
stuff is like, I'm not.
yeah. But some people get it though, the
Yeah.
translation of it and
Okay.
stuff when I'm telling the story. But I just want to tell a story. I'm telling my
Yeah.
story, and it's not. And I feel like I left the sugar coated storytelling alone a long time ago,
Mm.
because it was holding me back. I felt like I did it for that time. I used to do my exact same characters told Bible stories. Those
Yeah.
exact characters told Bible stories. Now they tell basically human stories,
Okay.
which is I'm I mean, people support me with it. They're okay with it because it's like, yeah, I'm not sugarcoating anything, but I'm still entertaining you. I'm still telling a story.
No, it
And
makes sense.
when you look at the Bible, a lot of the Bible stories are rated
I
R.
mean, yes, it is. It actually
Yeah.
very much
There are a
A
lot
is.
of
lot of
rated R.
blood and sex.
The Bible, I was gonna say, the Bible is a bunch of human stories. Honestly, like
Yes,
it's
they
like
are. Like the story of Samson is not the story of
yeah,
Samson is not a child friendly
yeah.
story
If
if
you
you
actually
really
did
read
it
it.
read
Right.
word for word, you
If
would
you
not
right,
not
it's
suited
like
for
this is a rated R
children.
story for real. Like, so what's wrong with telling that? You know?
No, it makes sense. No, this is. I mean, this is an interesting conversation because, like, I am, like, I'm a minister, like licensed and everything. So, like, I do that for a living.
So if
And
you
so,
catch Jason cussing, you can get
oh
him
goodness,
fired.
that's exactly right. That's why I
Yeah.
don't cuss because I could get fired. But no, but no, like, I think there's something about, even as you mentioned, like the question I asked was like, how is your family, connected? And I'm like, part of my desire is like wanting to make sure that I'm like, supportive. Cause I think I used to be very much like the father in the beginning, that was like, okay,
Yeah.
quote this verse and you going to, no, don't be
You
doing
felt like you were
that.
judgmental.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where
You
it's
have a
like,
J in your personality, though, right?
yeah, that is part of my Myers Briggs. But I think that like um the idea of allowing things and being more interconnected and supportive, and seeing the fullness of things is really what I desire to do in my life. And so I was like, okay, I see how the tension that the colonization can be, which does that, like my way or I kill you. Like that's literally colonialism. And so it's like I don't believe in that, and that's not my religion. And so I don't ever want to project that and force anything on anybody. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of that goes. But
Uh,
vampires do that. Like vampires is like you with me or you'll die. So I
Right.
think there's something about the vampire
Oh, like the
religion.
vampires
Yeah,
represent colonizers.
I think so. So let's talk about a little bit of that. I want to talk about
All right,
vampires.
so here we go. The vampires, if they represent colonizers, and I see you got a notes metaphor for exploitation, which I think we covered when I was
Yeah, we
talking about
talked a
the
little bit
record
about that.
label
Yeah, yeah.
people. All right, so vampires being colonizers is a good concept, because a lot of the colonizers, like the vampires in this movie, aren't synonymous with racist,
That's true.
like racist, like Klansmen.
That's true.
That's one thing that surprised me about the
Yeah.
movie. One of the pros about the movie is that I thought they were synonymous, that the vampire people was like somehow like the Klan was like vampires in disguise or some shit. I don't
Right.
know. But like
They didn't do that. That's not exactly
they
what he
didn't
did.
do that. The vampire, matter of fact, these vampires are like, yeah, we want them too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly. We'll take
we
them
yeah,
want to
out.
get
yeah.
them, we
Yeah,
want to
we'll
kill
kill
them
them.
too, because
I
they're
definitely got
bigots.
some
Like,
things to
you know,
say
we
about
all need to
this.
be
Yeah.
one and
Okay.
celebrating as one. If everybody let us bite their fucking necks, there won't be no
Yeah,
problem.
because when you first see like the trailer or whatever, when I first walked into the movie, I'm thinking like, okay, all the vampires are gonna be white people attacking the black people. That's what it looks
No.
like on the surface, and then you watch it, it's like, no, this is not the case at
Yeah.
all.
Hmm.
The vampires are almost better
Cause
than
they
the
have a really there's a
Yeah.
really good scene of the vampires singing and everybody singing with them.
It's all
yeah, and
unity.
Yeah, it's all unity and it
yeah,
sounds
they
like they're
kept
all
Like
saying
different
like, you
harmonized in
know,
cultures.
harmony
Yeah, it's like,
together.
they kept
yeah.
saying that, yeah, to get
Yeah,
them like join us, we all have unity and love, all that stuff,
Hmm.
right.
and it's like, and
But
we'll
that's
get,
also some
yeah,
cult vibes with that shit.
yep,
Cause
Absolutely.
me and
exactly,
Jason was like,
definitely.
yo, cause they were like, if we all just have unity together, I'm like, man,
It's
this
like this
kind of
is
like
cult.
this kind of some cult shit. This kind of
Yep.
like Midsummer.
Uh,
Midsummer. You know
yep.
what I'm saying? They had that accent at Midsummer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if you all just party with us and then we'll all be one.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah. So,
that was so
so
that
it
was a
was
good
almost
touch.
tempting to join the vampires
Oh yeah.
because when it was,
Joshua would have
yeah,
been joining them
I,
vampires.
I probably no, I would have joined them vampires.
I would have let Perlene find ass bite.
I'm like, why did they have to get? Is that like a vampire thing where they have to be invited?
Like they
in?
have to be hot. Oh, like they have to be invited in. Yeah, they have to be. Like
Yeah,
like
and I
nurses?
like the way they did that because they
Mhm.
never went past the door. It was like, because
Yeah.
I've seen some vampire stuff. If they are past the door, they get kind of like electrocuted or something like that.
Mhm.
I've seen stuff do that.
They touched
I
on that
think
on
Salem
Lovecraft
Lots
Country.
did that or something like that.
They did Lovecraft Country did that. They painted the door a certain color, like a blue color, something like that, and the evil spirits couldn't get in there.
So they kept asking, "Can I come?" You know, they kind of did it organically to make them invite them in, and that's always the case.
I learned that from the Lost Boys. That was the first time I ever saw the whole invite a vampire in was through the movie Lost Boys.
Okay.
I was mad that what's her name was like, "Come on in." I'm like, y'all,
Man, she got them killed. Yeah, I know.
It's like, why did you do that? They like, all you had to do was wait till the sunlight and you would be okay. But she was.
I mean, I gotta say this: the black folks didn't get the black folks killed. That was the non-black people that got them killed.
But that's also the only other thing about that is they could have survived that night, but they would have just kept coming every night.
Oh yeah, because they would have figured out.
Yeah,
like,
but
when the
maybe
sun
they
came
would have
up-
met up with the Native Americans though, or something,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, the vampire hunters.
yeah, it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, figured that out, or something.
Yeah.
Because like Haley Steinfeld, she goes out there and gets bit, of course. And I know y'all theater was probably yelling at her when she went out there.
Oh
to
yeah,
them.
yeah. My theater was like, what? Somebody in front of us was like, now why would you go?
Yep.
Somebody
Oh, my
like lock her ass outside.
Man, they're drooling, man. The drool they had.
That was
You
a
talk about
weird
that.
scene.
That
It was all like, you wanted, like, she was like, you want this? I was like, ugh. It's all drooling in his mouth.
Well, that's
That's part of it.
thing.
Oh my goodness.
Let's also talk about the Klansmen, the racist people at the end when Smoke smoked them all out.
Josh's
Well, yeah,
favorite
so
scene,
as we
where
think
he-
about
when he,
favorite
when he lived up
scenes,
to his name.
Is that what you said? Is why you liked Smoke so much?
No, the scene I like Smoke is toward the beginning when he's inside the store and these guys are trying to rob and he goes out and shoot the guy in the ass and then shoots the other guy in the leg. I was like, I would have done that.
Yep. He's like, I can't have nobody saying they almost robbed Smoke and Stack and
right.
walked away
I was
from
like,
it
I'm like,
without no
'cause
lip.
then right, and
like,
then he
that was
paid for them to
amazing.
be patched up. He paid for them to be patched
I was
up.
like,
So
I
it's
can't have nobody
I
saying
had
they
a lot of-
almost robbed us.
right. I had a
hilarious.
lot of respect for Smoke when
Yeah,
he
that was
did that. I
pretty
said,
dope. That
okay,
was dope.
that's a cool character for me.
Yeah. Mark, what was your con that you mentioned that you said you were gonna wait till the
Oh, my con was, and like I said, it's a small con. It doesn't take away anything from the movie, based on how it did turn out. My con was that it didn't go the way I wanted it to go,
okay.
or the way I expected it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I thought that after I done seen the Vampire Hunters, and I done seen, this is why I don't like social media either, because I've seen this trailer that describes this movie as having Avengers level reactions.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
So I'm like, damn, what's gonna happen? It must be a lot of action that happens on the final.
That's what
final
like somebody
sequence.
said that.
All right, yeah, that was one of the quotes on one of these trailers.
Oh,
All right, so when I go into the movie, it's on IMAX. I done seen Vampire Hunters, who they didn't say it, but they're clearly Vampire Hunters. I done seen a nigga conjure up spirits from the past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's vampires. I know there's hoodoo and stuff like that, and that these people are open to different realms. So I'm thinking that by the end of this movie, we're gonna have the Vampire Hunters, the Funk Man, and the ancestors, and all these people.
Let's bring in
fighting
Blade while we're
Shango,
Oh, I
right?
see.
Bring,
I see
bring
what you're
in
saying.
bring in Shango
Yeah,
with an axe.
yeah.
and
I
all-
see what you're saying.
like
the,
and just like kick these vampires.
yeah,
ass.
I see.
Like,
Bring in
I'm
Van
like, oh,
Helsing
shit,
while we're
it's
at
gonna
it.
be, right.
yeah.
crazy.
Avengers level. I see what you mean.
So
On
that's
your
what I
left.
was expecting. Right. On your
On your left.
on your left. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking finna happen on this.
I wasn't, but I know what you mean though.
But then when it didn't go that way, I was still extremely satisfied with the movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was great. You know,
Yeah.
Marcus is best when he's.
Yes. Indeed.
This is Marcus's lawyer.
You don't have to say that, Marcus. Oh man. But so yeah, I like so we talk about our favorite scenes, and you mentioned like the class people. Yes, I knew it was coming, and it was like, okay, this is my favorite scene so after they end up fighting all the vampires, and because there was one thing that was like at the one of the I think who said it? Somebody said it was like, oh man, they just out here, they're gonna kill you. The Klansman,
the main vampire said that.
yeah, the Klansman, the main vampire said the Klansman is going. They just
Wait. The main vampire said what?
You think you bought this Jew club and they just gonna let you live? No, they gonna come back and kill you. Like they gonna the Klansman. This like the one of the people I bought. That's his cousin. He a Klansman. Like they gonna come back and kill you. They just want this is a slaughterhouse because at the very beginning they're like, what's this on the floor? They literally kill people in that place, and so they're like they're gonna come back and
black
kill you.
people.
Right. So after that, the sun comes up. Smoke is by himself. He's just figuring out smoking his cigarette, and then okay, the Klansman is coming back, and so he's got. Remember one thing you said, Mark? You said,
I mean, who would that? But the Klansman, yeah, that's another one of my cousins.
Yeah.
Nobody said pop the trunk. They kept talking about the trunk, and the trunk had the weapons in it.
But he got it though, and he was prepared.
He did pop the trunk.
He got the trunk, and he was prepared, and he killed all them Klansmen, just shot them down. And I was like, before it started, I said, this is gonna be my favorite scene. This is gonna be my favorite scene. I just enjoyed seeing white Klansmen in Mississippi get shot up by a black man. that was I loved that.
Was satisfying for me.
It was very satisfying. Yeah. It was very satisfying. Like seeing at least 15 racist white men. I know they were actors, but seeing 15
right. Especially when at the very last one, the leader, he was all like, I got money, I can help you. And then Smoke didn't just shoot him once. He shot him several times. And I was like, yes. I was drooling like that vampire. Like, yes.
So, and I actually liked that they weren't vampires. They were just regular humans. And I'm like,
honestly, I don't think Smoke needed that warning from the vampire. I think he was going to do this anyway.
Yeah, he was going to do this anyway. He said it at the beginning. He said, look, he bought the property. He said, if any of you and your Klansmen will come to my property, I will shoot them and you and everybody is on site. He said that.
So he was prepared. So
he was already ready for that. And he was going to do it. He's a warrior, So he's like.
So they were prepared for that. So he was, the vampires was just a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
He was already ready for that. So that was my favorite scene. What was your guys' favorite scene?
Yeah, that's my second favorite scene to the music scene.
Yeah, that was music scene was
the
dope.
same with me.
The
music scene was my favorite.
Any other scenes that stick out?
And I also really did like that walk back and forth across the street to the store. Like that was a simply good shot.
Yeah. It
was just a good shot.
Do you know the second the second
the second single
end
one
credits,
shot?
The second
yeah.
So I didn't say
we left before that, but there was apparently some more after the credits.
Which it was him playing This Little Light of Mine in the church before all that happened. So it's kind of like a callback
like
to the forward. Yeah, but I love.
Speaking of epilogue, speaking of epilogue, we gotta talk about that scene.
Yeah, talk about it.
Almost forgot about it.
That's so important
because a lot of people was getting up. Marcus said that a lot of people,
like 27 people got up.
They were like
was walking out.
In my theater,
some people had already walked out, ran out the theater.
They
couldn't wait to leave. In my theater, people were still sitting. Only 2 people got up. They just know better out here. But I definitely want to talk about that scene because we see Sammy as an old man, and then we see surprise. We see Stax is there along with Haley Steinfeld's character.
And they're
They
young
survived.
and vampires.
They still look
obviously.
the same. Yeah, they're dressed in the 90s because it's in 92
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1992. And
what you
this
gonna
may
do
be
in 92?
so. This scene, I only talked to Andy about this scene. This scene was important to me because he didn't attack him. Because he made a truce with with Smokes, but but Sammy told Stax before the vampires attacked, that was the best day of his life. And Stax said the same was for him. And he was like, why? He said, that was the very last time I got to be with my brother and got to see the sunset. And that made me think about how they did the vampires in this movie. Because I was like, because sometimes versions of vampires, their soul is gone and it's just their body is a meat suit, basically. Where what's the name? Annie kind of explained that it was like your soul is there,
but stuck.
So it's you're kind of fighting the soul, and your evil side is fighting, walking around this body. And you can see that after these years went by, that Stax was still there. He didn't die completely. His soul was still there.
He was the same guy.
Yeah, he's the same guy. He's just a vampire now. The fact that he said that that's the last time I saw my brother, and to see the sunset, that lets you know he got a little bit of that tragedy living with him.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I liked, the whole makeup, which I think this is where you said a sequel is we could see that, like we could follow Stack and Haley.
Can I point out one thing about Stack that I thought was hilarious though?
What was it?
When he turned into a vampire, his vampire teeth came in. His grill changed shape to fit the vampire teeth. I thought that was funny.
That's good. Nice and appropriate.
Yeah.
But
how did that happen? Magic. He got a magic grill.
The same way you can turn into
Haley
a
Steinfeld's
vampire.
character's name was Mary.
If you can turn into a vampire, your grill can adjust. I think that is okay.
It seems like the vampire teeth were just, but the grill would just pop out.
It's like
vampire teeth.
We're in that world where the grill is adjustable. Like, it just makes it work. So, just like, if you can accept that he's a vampire, if you can accept that he's a vampire, you can accept that his grill can adjust. Oh man, but I would love to see a movie following them during that time period. That would be interesting to see. 90s,
During
Marcus,
the 90s,
you also mentioned that this could open up. Was it you or maybe it was?
Yeah, no, that was me. I was joking. I was saying this was gonna what did I say? This was gonna, since Ryan Coogler also directs Black Panther, when Black Panther 3, he's gonna use these vampires to segue in Blade. Things that will all be in the same universe.
Yeah, all the same universe. Yep. So there you go. So
that'd be funny though. Like
it would,
Blade could be the descendant of Stack.
Yeah.
Like half human, half vampire. You know what I'm saying? Like Stack could have a baby with a human, with a black human, and that could be Blade.
That's it. There it is, right there. That's we made it.
You know what I mean?
We made it. It's made.
And we already got the whole origin story of where the vampires even come from.
Yeah, there you go.
So Ryan Coogler,
if you're listening,
oh man, because we know you are.
Yes, you are. Thank you for listening.
That would be hilarious though. That actually would work.
It could work. I can see
he could weave in his own story into the Marvel universe.
Yeah. We kind of already talked about favorite characters, huh?
Did we? Well, you just said yours.
I told my favorite. My favorite characters is Sammy, and then Stack, and then Delta Slim.
Yeah,
those are my favorites in that order.
My favorite character was Smoke. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Then Stacks. I like both of them, but just Smoke. I mean, I liked all these characters. Being honest with you, I liked all these characters.
Yeah, I did like all.
There was not a single character I didn't like, to be honest.
Actually, yeah, I liked Annie too. I liked Annie just as much as
Yeah, they had they had some really intimate, like, and almost tear-jerking moments with Annie and Smoke, especially the end.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my goodness. So
they did deal with child loss and everything, which is another thing. Like that hit home for me.
Yeah,
like so it was weird because I could relate to Sammy in some instance, and then I could relate to Smoke in other instances,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that,
Wow.
the scene at the end where
Yeah.
she was, she was dressed in that white. I was like, man, I had a vision of Tori like kind of in white like that before my late daughter was born, and then that whole dynamic about that character was
Yeah.
very, very, very relatable. So yeah.
So you said that movie was made with
Yeah,
you.
I'm
You
telling
can
you, it was
buy it.
yeah.
So you're probably gonna buy it on
Oh, I'm definitely buying this.
streaming.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Buy it on
buying
streaming.
However you buy it.
because
I know,
they
you
even
can't buy
honored
stuff
that.
nowadays.
They even honored that loss
Wow. Yeah, they did.
in a way that like they celebrated. Like no, like I'm like Annie wasn't afraid to die. She wasn't scared of shit. She was like, no, I got people waiting on me. Like I'm gonna be fine. Like like so they made a promise. I don't think we talked about that. They made a promise to each other that if I get bit, you got to kill me. If you get bit, I'm gonna kill you. So you won't be
Right.
stuck in your body like that.
Yeah.
Kind
The
of
other
like a
things you
zombie
mentioned-
thing, kind of like a zombie rule. But
Right.
The other thing
towards
is they didn't know
vampires.
what vampires were. Annie was the only one that knew what vampires were.
Right.
And I was like, that makes sense because
she
they don't
was the
have
Doctor
TVs and
Strange of
stuff.
this world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And explain what to do.
Yeah, and then even after she spoiler gets killed or whatever in this realm, she's literally just fine when you see her at the end of the movie.
That's true.
She's just in the ancestral realm now.
Yep.
Back
That's
with her
right.
baby, like ain't nothing changed. Like she was just fine. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean,
and how they showed him his transition where he could see her.
that was an interesting way.
That was real tight.
That was a creative way to have him transition.
But our audience, because at first it looked like he wasn't gonna kill the clan dude. It was like, no, dude, kill him. And then
yeah, because it's like, no, don't die
people
without
in our
killing him
audience
first.
was like, take it with you, shoot him. And John was like, okay, thanks.
That's
Thanks.
it was satisfying.
He looked at the camera and said, all right, y'all, I hear y'all.
People. I hear y'all.
I hear you, black people. So
Yeah,
I liked.
thought that was
Actually liked. What's her name? Lisa Chow.
Yeah.
Oh, the Asian lady?
Grace. Yeah. She was pretty dope.
cool. Yeah, she was a good character.
Because
And the
she went
people
out.
who
She
got
literally
killed-
burned out. Like the
Right.
way she killed. Like that was
Wow.
like her death
Right.
scene was powerful.
Oh, that was crazy.
But that was
I like
also
cornbread.
reminded me.
I like cornbread as well. Like, just
the image of her burning. That's also taken from a shot in history.
Mm.
You remember the monk who was on fire? I think he like set himself on fire or something in protest.
oh wow.
He was sitting in the middle of the street, it's like just burnt up, like
Wow.
like he left his body and his body just burned. Like he was just sitting in a lotus position and his body looks just like that.
Wow. That's probably where he got that from.
That's probably what they came from.
Wow.
Yeah, that's powerful. So yeah, but I definitely like. I feel like I definitely like Smoke and Stack equally. But
Yeah, they were great.
yeah. So
All right. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of favorite characters.
all of them.
I mean, they're all really good, man.
Yeah. Like we mentioned almost everybody.
'Cause-
So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if we missed anybody
was gonna say the
else.
head vampire was actually one of my favorite
Yeah.
characters.
Oh goodness,
Like,
we just liked them
them
all.
a lot.
All the
I
characters
really
are
did.
likable.
Everybody was great. Everybody was a great character.
And
really
that's-
was.
and everybody had a satisfactory ending. So it's kind of like, like even the Klansmen ended. We liked that they all died. Yes, they all were. It's like I like that.
There's a lot of death in this movie. Yeah.
Most people died in the movie. So yeah.
Yeah, Sammy was like the only one. Sammy and his dad
Yeah.
were like the only ones that lived.
And
pretty
that-
much.
Yeah. Sammy survived, and he made the choice not to be a vampire too. So that was really good. Like you kind of see his victory.
I'll never be a vampire again. That was the end of
The end. So, okay.
All right. Well, let's tell people where to follow you guys at. Starting with you, Marcus.
Follow me at 730 on all social media platforms and music streaming platforms. That's 730 spelled with the number 7.
You can catch me, SmileyJason_ on Instagram. Yeah, that's the best way to find me.
And you can catch me as Prop Josh on all social media. Prop Josh _ Productions on Instagram. And yeah, I got 2 YouTube channels, so both of them are Prop Josh. All Prop Josh stuff is me. So, final thoughts?
Man, I don't think I got the final thought today. To go see this movie, support
that's a good one.
support
Yeah.
black not just support black, but support going to the fucking theater again and having a good time.
Support original.
It could be date night, it could be solo movie night. It don't matter. Go with your friends, go with a group, go by yourself.
And don't bring any beer.
Support that shit. Don't bring any beer unless
leave
your
your
theater
phone
serves beer. If your theater
and
serves beer, you
yes.
shouldn't have a reason to suck it
Patronize
out of a paper bag.
Oh, good night.